There was like you guys had an issue with the security, right? That happened. This is a few days ago, maybe, where they had a guy who was it looked like he was. Here we go. Armed man arrested at RFK Jr. campaign event in Los Angeles. Was this guy armed and supportive of you, or was he armed and it seemed like he was against you, or did you have any take on this?
He showed up and he asked. He was wearing a U.S. Marshal badge. You can see it in some of the. He was wearing a lanyard. You can see the lanyard around his neck there, and at the end of that is a badge that identified him as a U.S. Marshal. And then he had a federal ID on his belt.
Okay,
you can see there.
Yeah,
right. He has some other kind of badge on his belt, and you see the badge around his neck. And that was determined to be fake. And somebody from my Gavin Becker Associates, which is doing my security. They won't, the White House will not give me Secret Service protection. So I've retained this group that's the premier security group in the country, and they and one of their guys looked at that badge and said that's too shiny.
Wow,
it's not a real badge. And so then he called somebody else who was armed, and the two of them cornered him, and then they called the police, and they kept him in the corner. They didn't want to grab him because they didn't want to start a shootout. And they could see that he had shoulder holsters on.
Jeepers.
And so then the police came and arrested me. He was asking for me. He was looking for me. And he had two shoulder holsters that were fully loaded pistols, and then you can see that badge on his hip.
Yeah, he's badged up, huh?
Yeah, and then he also had a backpack that had another weapon in it, another gun,
like a sword.
He also had knives on him.
Oh, man.
And he had a lot of extra magazines filled with ammunition. So. He said afterwards, apparently his brother said, he heard there was a job opening for security, but you don't go to a job opening for security with all those magazines and guns and knives and 2 to 3 pistols. His brother who brought him there also was like an armory. So
right.
They had a whole car filled with weapons.
Wow.
So I have no idea. I don't know what he was looking for, but I'll tell you what. The thing that you should do is go on his YouTube. I mean, his TikTok.
Yeah?
He has a TikTok site that he just opened, so he only has one TikTok video on it, and it's of him just before he comes to see me.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see that if you can find it. Nick will find it.
It is...
because some people want to show up
at the end of that thing, he says something to the effect of, "I'm going out to do a job right now, and if I don't come back, if I don't come back, report to your commander, Donald J. Trump, your commander in chief." So it's a very kind of you want to watch this? It's about a minute.
Yeah,
it's worth watching.
Let's watch it.
You got to turn the sound up.
Oh shit, big homie Zorro over here.
I think this is his brother talking to him.
I needed to see. More like God's gangster.
Shit, I hear you're the man with the plan. What's the word?
I got it all. Actually, there's too much to tell you right now. So I want you guys to go over to Rumble. Check out Icons 2020. Sarge. I will be speaking with him. And Alex Collier. You're not retiring, homie. You didn't fucking ask me, dog. I need you, sport.
Okay, so this guy's not doing well, huh?
No.
Yeah,
My name is
this guy ain't
Adrian
doing well.
Paul
And this could also be an advertisement for Rumble.
First name,
I'm not even joking, it really could be.
A-D-R-I-A-N.
I would see him go to something like this. Okay, I think I've seen enough. But yeah, I get it. So this guy's like,
Last name, A-I-S.
In the end, he does this little, kind of.
Let's see the end. Can we see the end?
Suicide by police. Yeah, show the last. I don't know, 10 seconds.
There we go.
If I don't make it back, call the fucking president, your commander-in-chief, Donald J. Trump.
And where's he going? I didn't even see a door over there when it was a wide shot. So that's the weird part of he's just walking just over the like by some tool chests. Wow. I mean, look, dude, just
So I don't know. I don't know.
Y'all don't have the best track record with like,
No.
you know.
You mean the family?
Yeah. I don't want to say that, but yeah, I mean, and yeah, I shouldn't have said it like that, but you know, it's like, is it more scary? But you can't live in fear. What are you going to do?
I'm not going to live in fear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and you know, but the White House should definitely be giving me Secret Service.
Well, can you save your receipts? And if you get in there, can you get reimbursed or not?
What?
Can you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so and I think that's what they're up to. That they want to, you know, bleed me white, essentially, you know, from money perspective. But I'm the first candidate in history that has requested Secret Service protection they haven't given to.
But do they give it to you this early? Because I read somewhere that they don't.
Here's what, because the press has been dishonest about this. You're entitled to it. They have to give it to you 120 days out from before the general election.
If what? What circumstances?
They to all candidates, 120 days out.
Okay.
Well, you have to have a certain polling number, but I've surpassed all the thresholds by far.
Okay.
So, but like my Uncle Teddy was given Secret Service protection 551 days out.
But he was also he was like a lifelong politician.
Oh, he was a politician, but he wasn't even running for president. He was talking about running for president against a president in his own party like me, Carter. But Carter said, you better protect him right away.
Right.
And even though he hadn't officially declared they gave him Secret Service protection, Obama got it 450 days out. John McCain got it 400 or 500 days out. I think I'm like 300 days out now. Jesse Jackson got it, Shirley Chisholm. You go down, there's probably 30 of them who've all gotten it long before the 120 days.
Okay.
And I get, we gave them a 68-page.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. And why you should have it?
Yeah, because I get death threats all the time. And, I had a mentally ill person break into my house a month ago and make it to the second floor.
No, are you at your house?
Yeah. So,
oh my God.
They should. You would think that the president would.
If you know Biden, can't you just ask him?
Well, we're not on talking terms at the moment.
Okay. Damn, that's a bummer. Yeah, because you think you'd be able to hit him up and be like, Joey,
Yeah.
I'll trade you an ice cream for a couple of front door goons, You know what I'm saying? A couple of sharpshooters, dude. I bet you send him a box of mint chocolate chip, buddy, you'll get whatever you want.
You think?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think every man loves to have a dessert. Hope you enjoyed that video, and you can watch another. And you can watch this one, you can watch this one. Different options, different choices. Some guy just brings you one option, not this guy. Two options. Watch one. This one or this one.
I'm Gavin DeBecker. You can obviously learn more about me from Wikipedia or any other online source, but I want to give you a very quick introduction. I advise governments and at-risk individuals on anti-assassination strategies. I'm a 3-time presidential appointee. I served 2 terms on the President's Advisory Board at Department of Justice. I designed mosaic systems, threat assessment systems that are used to screen threats to justices of the Supreme Court and members of Congress. I developed threat assessment systems used by the U.S. Marshals Service and by state police agencies protecting governors in 12 states. My best-selling books on preventing violence are now published in 21 languages. You get the idea. My company provides protection services for many at-risk public figures, including for my dear friend and now presidential candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's odd that we're protecting him because since 1968, presidential candidates get Secret Service protection. That started immediately after Senator Robert Kennedy, Bobby's father, was assassinated at a campaign event. Immediately, Secret Service began protecting candidates, and by Election Day that year, 12 candidates were getting protection. But the Biden administration has refused to afford Secret Service protection to Bobby Kennedy Jr. Now, an important note here, the Secret Service itself has been helpful and professional, and I have no complaint with them. They stand ready to provide the protection, but the Biden administration says no. Now, what's happened during the long months that the administration has failed to protect this candidate is super alarming, and I'm going to share just a couple of incidents that have already been public. A few weeks ago, a mentally ill intruder entered Bobby's home demanding to see the candidate, and he was arrested. It wasn't the first time that same man had been arrested for Kennedy-related intrusions. More significantly, last week, a man showed up outside a campaign event where Bobby was going to speak, and protectors from my company were observing him, and they were ready when the man went to a side entrance, identified himself as federal law enforcement, and ordered our protectors with intensity, "Take me to Kennedy immediately. I have to see him right now." When protectors saw that this man was carrying a handgun, they removed him from the area, isolated him, surrounded him. LAPD was called, and we handed over custody when the police arrived, and the man was arrested. In his backpack, which we screened for explosives, were more handguns, knives, and extra ammunition. A second man who'd driven him to the campaign event was also taken into custody by police. Obviously, the incident is very, very alarming. We now know that he's a strident QAnon follower, and to help us guess what he was planning, we reviewed everything we could find online and began quite an investigation. There's a TikTok video that he posted just weeks ago, trying out that special new outfit that he was wearing when he made the approach at Bobby's speech with the handgun and had a fake federal badge. At one point in the video, he calls himself God's gangster. Referring to his readiness, he says, "Shit, I got it all." Now, on this video, he spells out his name super carefully, letter by letter, and he says, "You'll know who you're fucking with." Near the end of the video, he says, "Take care of each other," and then adds his most chilling words, "If I don't make it back." Now, the risk in this incident doesn't take an expert, it's obvious. And despite knowing everything that I've shared with you and knowing much more alarming material that's contained in a detailed 67-page threat assessment the government received, the administration still hasn't responded to the campaign's second formal request for protection. What are they waiting for? So with all that background, I'm reaching out to you today in what is probably the most unusual fundraising request ever in presidential politics. It's because they've refused to provide Secret Service protection that 30 cents of every dollar donated to RFK Jr.'s campaign has to go to security. Normally, none of it would. I would gladly pay for it all myself. He's my dear friend, and I'd like him to win. But it's not allowed. It would be considered a campaign contribution above the limit, and I've already made my campaign contribution. But you can help. You can help to continue the best level of security that we can accomplish for my dear friend through donating to his campaign. It is crazy that we have to ask the public to provide protection, but that's where we are.
I consider myself a traditional Kennedy liberal. I don't know any of the values that my uncle John Kennedy harbored or my father shared that I don't share. They had antipathy and suspicion of war in the military-industrial complex. They did not want corporations running the American government. They were completely against censorship. They were against the use of fear as a governing. And you go down the list of the things that they believe in, and I don't think that there's really any daylight between me and what they believed. If you like this video and you want to help me become president of the United States, go to Kennedy24.com and donate now. When I tell the mainstream media, hey, you're not telling the truth about my positions, they tell me, well, go jump in a lake. And when I tell the mainstream media, hey, I give an important policy speech and you didn't cover it, they tell me, well, go jump in a lake. And when I tell the Democratic Party, hey, it's not fair of you to not count the votes for millions of primary voters, they tell me, go jump in a lake. And when I tell the White House, I'd be a lot safer if you gave me Secret Service protection, they say, go jump in a lake. So I've heard that advice so many times that I'm going to try it. If we meet our fundraising goal of $5 million by midnight on September 30th, I'm going to jump in this lake. Please visit Kennedy24.com and donate today to help us reach our $5 million goal. Let's see if this lake is all it's cracked up to be.